The New South Wales Labor's position still remains unclear as to its direction on the voice to the New South Wales Parliament. However, the people of New South Wales have made it very clear that they resoundingly and decisively reject the voice to Parliament. Over 59% of the people of New South Wales made it very clear on the weekend that they reject the voice to Parliament. And it's abundantly clear, and it should be very clear to everybody in this House, that the people have had a gutful. And if you look at the votes specifically related to Western Sydney, the Outer Sydney and regional New South Wales, we have a closer look at the results there of those particular electorates. Many of those electorates, the Minns Labor Government formed government, in fact, by some of those seats changing hands, given they were very marginal. Those areas, whether it's Camden, Macarthur, Riverstone, Penrith, there were some very strong no votes, and it's absolutely clear that the people of New South Wales have spoken. But what's not clear is that the Minns Labor Government just wants this issue to go away quietly. Well, it won't go away quietly because it needs to be settled. The government must formally rule out any intention of legislating a voice to the New South Wales Parliament. When you have such a decisive vote, as we saw over the weekend, no government can be that arrogant to ignore that type of mandate. There's clearly a strong vote out there telling the government of the day to refocus its energies and attention back on alleviating cost of living pressures, focus back on the economy and focus back on supporting the families doing it tough in those communities, in the communities of need, whether it's the parks, whether it's areas like Lyne, whether it's out in the regions, Monero. You only have to look at the AEC results to see that people have had a gutful of the virtue signalling, and they want real results, and they want it now. My motion is about sending a strong message to the people of New South Wales that the government won't be arrogant, that the government won't just ignore the issue, that it will be decisive. And it's so critical that this motion be passed tonight. Can I just say, last week moved a motion essentially calling on New South Wales to vote yes. It was passed in this House despite myself voting against it and a number of others voting against it, but overwhelmingly the Labor Party stitched up the votes with the left to make sure that motion was passed. Well, look at the results that you saw on the weekend. Haven't the people of New South Wales sent a really clear message to this government to refocus its energies back on supporting families, refocus your energies back on reducing the waiting list for housing, refocus your attention back on homelessness that's on the rise in New South Wales, particularly in some of the regions in New South Wales. And if you look at some of the stark data coming out of regional New South Wales, homelessness is on the rise. Look at NCOS data when it comes to the poverty index in New South Wales. 1 million people live in poverty in New South Wales. 1 in 7 children live in poverty in New South Wales. What does the voice do for them? That $400 million that was spent and counting, that was spent on the voice referendum should have been redirected to the communities most in need. Now, I want to make it very clear that the first point of my motion makes it clear that I do respect Aboriginal people and the value they have in building the historical heritage of New South Wales. And I don't discount the need to close the gap measures. They are critical, of course they are. I have stood in the other chamber on many occasions supporting Aboriginal people, particularly when I was Shadow Minister of Facts. I was absolutely gutted seeing the number of children in care and the number of young people incarcerated that are Aboriginal. This voice would not have helped them, not one iota, and everybody in this chamber knows this. It's absolutely imperative now that the governments of the day, both New South Wales and federal, refocus their energy on everybody that's vulnerable, that needs desperate assistance and help. It's imperative that there be a strong message from Minns. He only has to look at his own electorate to see that people overwhelmingly voted no, and it's time that rather than he hide behind the media, he needs to refocus his energies on the people of New South Wales.